Welcome to this Mastery Empowerment course from New Earth One Network. This is designed exclusively for your higher self connection and embodiment. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this introduction to a series of very wonderful, enlightening courses that will absolutely change your life and the life of your partner, your friend, and your family. Addison Ames is here. He's an awakened spiritual teacher, and he's going to share on information that he's channeled from the higher realms, and he teaches to us here in this physical realm. Addison, thank you so much for being here. Welcome.
Thank you, Lauren, and thank you for having me. It's a real honor to be here and talk about these courses today.
Yes, it's interesting because this is, you've stated that it's new enlightenment on core human values, core human understanding. And we're going to talk about each of these courses, but the most popular one, the most I think the most popular on people's minds, especially for couples and people in general, is abundance and prosperity, how we can truly manifest and be in the flow of everything. So before we go into each course individually, tell us a little bit more about how this information came to you and how you're bringing it out into the world.
For sure. All of these courses are channeled from what I call the higher realms. I work with my guides, Metatron, and sometimes the divine, and they all work with me in my own personal everyday life. They're kind of like my go-to team. And I channel Metatron too, as I think you and much of your audience knows. So I work with these groups very closely. So they have really guided me to focus on spiritual and awakened teaching. So I've developed these courses that are really all downloaded. And the very interesting positioning of these is they're new and enlightened ideas or high dimensional understandings that upgrade core human ways to be. So, we all kind of accept certain things in our life, like, oh, this is how you love. This is how a relationship is. This is prosperity. This is what I'm handed, and I deal with poverty or mediocrity or whatever it is, or just trying to make ends meet. And this is just the way it is. It's a way to be. I just accept it. Or things like spiritual evolution and ascension. You kind of go, where do I go from here? So all of these courses kind of upgrade, or what I call plus, core human understandings or ways to be. Soul transformation for friends and family, really understanding yourself as your soul and doing really deep and enlightened group soul work together with friends and family.
These are special in the sense that I want to go over the amount of time that you're offering people and the ways that they can join with their family or their partner or friends. It works really well for couples, as you were saying. Really works well for groups. And so a couple could come along, but you might want to grab another couple that and get them to participate as well. And you have pegged this almost like family and friend game night. It's fun and it's enriching. And one of the things that we hear a lot of is some say, how am I going to get my partner or my husband, my spouse to level up with me and join me and get me to see this point of view? This is exactly what that does on a higher dimensional level. And so it's really wonderful in that sense because it meets people wherever they are. It
Mhm.
meets everyone wherever they are. And it can open up conversation within a household, within a family, within a friendship that advances the evolution of their beingness. I just absolutely love it. And
Yeah.
so altogether, it's a total of 15 hours per each course. Talk about the group synergy that's involved here and the way you like to teach this.
Yeah, for sure. Well, first of all, kind of just technically so people know what they're signing up for. Each course, each of the three courses we're talking about today, each is 15 hours, which takes place over 5 consecutive weeks, and each class is 3 hours. So 5 weeks, 3 hours per class, total of 15 hours. So it is a time investment. They're $477 per course, which ends up being a really deeply discounted price over what I normally offer them, about 80% off. And but it does require some time investment, but the investment is good. And I love what you said about like family game night. And many of your viewers may be familiar with that whole movement. And I think there was even some television shows called Family Game Night, where it's nice to get together with family, friends, loved ones, and really have some fun, get to know each other, share stories, and all grow together. So this is kind of a similar concept I have for all these courses. I do talk and teach. There are some materials and slides and visual aids that I use, but they're all very interactive. So what I really encourage for your community is each person that signs up, again, it's $477. Each person that signs up can bring either a friend or a partner in their couple, husband, wife, spouse, whatever it may be. So it's really $477 for two people, and then invite a couple of other couples. So if you can get maybe son or daughter, other friends in your network, so that you can gather maybe 6, 8, even 10 people together, ends up being a really great value, and have fun, share stories, get to know each other. Bring a husband that is kind of new to this stuff and wants to wade in the water a little bit deeper, and also enjoy the process. The way I work and the way I talk and teach is a lot like the way that I am. I'm a really, really nice guy. I love people. I love to work with them wherever they are and lift them up. So I never make anyone feel kind of odd man out or uncomfortable, but the course material is really all tuned to people at different places and spaces and parts of their development. So, bring a husband, bring a spouse, friend, whatever you want to call them, and bring some friends. And it's a really great way to do like a friend thing, like couples like to go out with other couples for dinner and this kind of stuff. This is a great way to add that kind of to your budget and to your schedule. So you can say, hey, friends, for the next 5 weeks, let's do this fun class. Let's do it together. It sounds really enriching, helps us learn new stuff about ourselves and the world around us. It's not that expensive. And it's a great way to like enrich our relationship. So, for me personally, if I was an audience member, I would love that. I'd love to come and do stuff like this. So if you're a learner and love to learn and learn with other people and develop your own personal, abilities and strengths, this is really a great opportunity.
Yes, it sounds wonderful and really fun and really fresh as well. Really pushing the envelope of how we can gather and get together like this in a really fun, educational, and enlightening way. And
Totally.
really, it's almost as if this is where we can, because we're gathering friends, neighbors. I'm thinking of my neighbors, right?
Yeah.
Or now I'm far away from them, and how fun this would be to gather them and bring them into this personal retreat space. It's like a personal retreat that we can go to
Wow.
together for 3 hours a night, for
I
5.
totally like that. I love that concept. Yeah, and keep in mind this is on Zoom. So like, even if you have kids that are in Alaska or wherever they may be, you can rally them from all around the world thanks to Zoom. So it is kind of like a personal retreat. A great way to get to know your friends and family better and enrich all of your lives.
And accountability as well, because if your friend is sitting there and you can say, do you remember in that workshop, especially on abundance, and we can help each other, we can guide each other along the way,
Sure.
because sometimes we could forget. But this is where it's like, do you remember? Let's go back to that and let's do that. So I love this concept. It really is special. And I just want to say thank you for the deep discount. 80% off is significant. And so here on New Earth One Network, it's available in a very special offer. And we are excited to offer this to everyone. We're excited for you to bring your children, to bring your friends, to bring even some people who maybe you want to help raise their awareness a little bit more if that's been a challenge for you, because you can bring them in, you can lead a horse to water, but Addison can make them drink, right? Addison can at least
Well, I encourage the drinking. I teach drinking. People have to make their own decisions, but I love that. And, especially like, I'm thinking of parents who have kids that are always asking them for money. It could be a great way to say, hey, kind of find your own abundance here. But yeah, we can definitely make it fun.
And I do love that because, for the most part in our community, it's heavily dominated by women. And here you are, a male figure. That's what I love as well, because for those of us who want to bring along the male figures in our lives
Yeah.
or our children, sometimes it's like, oh, mom, we don't want to listen to mom, but you're an outside factor. You're an outside, I don't want to say authority figure, but an outside role model that has the experience, and you're likable, and people can get to feel your essence and understand that from an open mind, where the moms and the parents can kind of just sit back and the spouses can sit back and say, what he said. So that's
Yeah.
good. I love that. Tell us a little bit more about that soul work aspect.
Many times our soul kind of is bringing into this life other stuff. And so one of the things that I do through timeline work and soul work is help to clear the past, ancestral and generational stuff, and really kind of fold, close, or collapse it and put it to rest, sometimes in your Akashic records, or sometimes it just needs to be cleaned and cleared, so that suddenly you wake up, like, sometimes it takes a week or two or a few weeks for it to clear. You wake up and you go, you know what? I feel different. I see myself differently. I value myself differently. So sometimes, our soul gets a little cloudy with some of the stuff that it brings into this life. It is the essence of us, it is the divinity of us, but it also brings us through all of our different lifetimes and old belief systems and all that kind of stuff. Soul work, transformation for friends and family. It's like group soul work. So it's one of the key things that I do and really enjoy, and it's very highly rewarding for the people that I work with, is people kind of like know they have a soul, and sometimes they really want to get into soul alignment. So through soul work, I help people to know themselves as their soul. I talk with their soul, give them the information that they need to help really know why they're here, what is headed in, what's up for them next on their soul journey, kind of help them know what their soul destinies are and what they need to do to really be in soul alignment in this life. And so we do this with friends, and it's a great way really to get to know the people that you take this course with. So that's the soul work course.
Soul transformation with friends and family. So tell us what is in store for us with this course.
So in this course, and this course is really best for friends and family, especially if you have friends and family, friends you've known for a long time, and kind of have fun with them. This course is really a lot of fun because you get to tell stories and hear stories about each other. So, many of you watching, you may have friends and family members or extended family members like this, or if you have a big family, this could be great for you, where you know each other and kind of tell stories about each other, but you want to go deeper and know even more stories about each other. So what we do is, first of all, everyone kind of tells their own story. I call it your soul story. So, tell us about yourself. What's your life story? Spend some time. Tell us all about yourself. And then everyone kind of shares that. And then through group work and homework, we look at our soul, where it is, where it came from, and where it's going. The way I see things is we are our soul is us. We're like walking, talking souls. And our soul is really the divinity, the infinite part of us that has lived and 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 continues to live. So it is the thing that's lived lives, that's had other experiences and goes on and has other experiences. So we all work together to get in touch. Each member gets in touch with their own individual soul, and through homework and group work, begins to understand more about their overall soul journey. Past lives, past relationships beyond this life, where they're going after this, where they think they're going, many other lives, other places and spaces, either on Earth or other planets, wherever it may be, other existences, other universes. And so through all this group work and sharing, and I share kind of what I'm hearing, and I work with people's soul and give them feedback, is you begin to put together a composite architecture of me, who I am. So what is my larger soul story beyond this life, beyond what I think I know? So that you start the course by saying, yeah, this is my story. And then you end the course by saying, wow, this is my story. I'm a big soul. Some people talk about I'm an old soul, and that's a way to look at it. If you think you're an old soul, what I say is you're probably a big soul, which means you've amassed a huge amount of experience, information, and frequency, and all that good stuff, and continue to live and grow and get bigger. So when the idea is when people leave this soul transformation course, they have a whole different story of themselves. They understand themselves as bigger than what they think they are, more limitless than what they think they are, and a story that is much richer too, far more multidimensional and far more interesting than when they first started the course.
That is so fun. And yeah. I could hear people saying, well, how would you discover your past lives? How would you even begin to understand what they are? Would you have to go through hypnosis for that? But this part of the sharing the stories and the group work is going to help one understand past lives and connections, right?
For sure. So, in the way that I work, no matter what I do, sessions or courses, I don't steal power from people. I empower people. So I give, right? That's what good teachers do. I love the old saying, the best masters are not judged by how many students they have, but how many masters they make. So I love that concept, is that, I provide some feedback and some guidance based upon what I hear from the soul, from the person's Akashic records, if they wish to share that, and can provide some details that can help, but then send them home with homework to do every night while they sleep. And then between each class, people generally get some really deep insights, and they go, oh my gosh, I see this for myself. I understand myself as, a gladiator, or, whatever it may be, a great teacher, a master, a guru, all the different kind of concepts that a soul has lived through. So, I provide some insights and some help, but most people really come to these conclusions themselves and go, this is really cool. And then even when the course is done, they continue to do this work and continue to get more about themselves, continue to get to know more about themselves. I think the average person on the world today, from kind of what I see, has had at least 2,000 Earth lives lived already. That's kind of the way I see it. And this is just a general snapshot, doesn't apply to everybody. And so if you look at that, we probably don't touch on all those lives, and there may be lives from other places and spaces beyond Earth. But when we look at maybe some pivotal ones that the soul will allow to come forward so that people can really begin to know themselves. Part of this work, and this is a key part of my work in general with myself and with others, is to know myself beyond just Addison Ames. We are such rich creatures and beings and creations. When you begin to know and understand more aspects of oneself, you really understand how big you are. We talked about limiting beliefs when it comes to prosperity earlier. The more you know yourself, the more you are. As we know ourselves, we are. It forms our experience and our belief systems and all this kind of thing. So if we understand ourselves as this really big being, more than just a guy that lives here and does this, then you go, I can access these different parts of myself to be more fully and completely a powerful me. So that's an outcome of this course.
Beautiful, beautiful. And there's something here about the inner child, how this course will help us discover the inner child and rediscover our youth. And that there's something very authentic about that. Can you talk a little bit about the inner child? And is the inner child always part of our greater soul? Is it an aspect of our soul that just wants to be free and have fun and be joyful?
From the way I see it, and everyone works in their own way, I would give an unequivocal yes. So, I'm here being professional with you right now, Loren. I'm a very silly person. I'm very funny. I love to goof off. I like to make jokes. I like to take things really lightly. I have a lot of fun. I'm very in touch with my inner children. I have identified 16 inner children that I work with on a regular basis. Some people have more than one inner child. You probably have more than one inner child. I'm not looking, but I'm just guessing. And so, in our world today, so many people are forced to kill their inner child, deny it, think they don't have it, whatever it may be. So especially if you want to bring some people to this class who don't even know about it or think the idea of the inner child is like an old, stupid idea, please come, because most people have at least one inner child and sometimes have many. So when we're in touch with our inner child, which I think we all have, it helps us really to not take things so hard and fast and so difficultly. When we can really look, laugh, and play through life, it enriches life. And it sets us free on a lot of stuff. In the way that I work, I try not to be serious all the time. So in my classes and courses, we kind of like have some fun, we joke, we laugh a little bit, because when you can kind of like integrate lightheartedness, childlikeness, it helps us be more completely us. It's a very beautiful thing.
It is beautiful because that vibration is actually what's going to bring prosperity in a way, because we're following the joy, following our passion in a way. I mean, it's very important. And I actually love what you said there about children, inner children. Yeah. Most of us don't think there or think that way or go that way. We're thinking of the inner child. And is she sad? But the inner children, that makes so much sense. And we can look in our own lives and say, yeah, okay, there are inner children in there. There's also, like the teenager. I'm still working with her, the wounded teenager. Sure. But this part where it gets really fun. And so in all of these workshops, we're doing such transformational work that, wow, our life can only be different and better when we engage in this way with ourselves. So this is an investment in ourself. It's an investment in our soul.
For me, if I take a course, I really want to come out on the other end seeing things differently. Mm-hmm. So if you really want to see things differently, I would, really ask yourself, get with your soul, your guides, your guidance, your people, and say, do we want to change some stuff here? Even just a little bit? Do we want to see some things differently? All the way up to like transform. Then, and even if you have to drag your husband along, it could be a lot of fun because we have a lot of fun along the way. The information is really good. The course materials, the homework, the take-away, take-home materials are really good. And I think you'll come away seeing things differently. I see these all as really high-value courses.
Yes. And again, I want to say thank you for the discount and the opportunity for people to join in at this really affordable investment. It's wonderful and it's deeply discounted. So for those who resonate with any of these teachings, please step in, get your friend, get your children, get your neighbor, get your spouse, get your partner, and explore this opportunity in your own life. And is there anything you want to say, Addison, about any of the course material, any about the homework or the PDFs or things like this that you offer as well?
Sure. So I think people generally like to talk, share ideas, but really respond well to visual aids. So I use kind of a mixed media approach. There's a lot of talking and sharing, all this kind of stuff. And then I also use visual aids, slides, sometimes some short videos. So it is a generally media rich environment. And then generally between each class, not every class, depending on what course it is, but I would say a lot of the classes, you might get a PDF or a worksheet to take home with you, to put on the refrigerator, or to practice some things in everyday life, and then kind of bring the results of your homework back to the next class. So there can be some very light between class work. And then generally you leave with kind of like a number of worksheets from the whole class at the very end of the course. And you can kind of keep the teaching alive beyond, just the 5-week class. So you will get some PDFs. Some of them are reminders, and then some of them are worksheets where you can actually kind of work the information that you've learned. And again, keep the teaching alive far beyond the 5-week course.
Yes, I was going to say this is a living course because it lives with us forever. We will never be able to put that toothpaste back in the tube after we experience it, and it becomes our truth. And so thank you for the transformational work that you're doing for the planet and the higher realms and all of it. And I just want to give you a moment for any other comments you want to say about this beautiful series.
Well, I would just say thank you, Loren, and to your whole team for helping to make this available to your community. And thank you to your community for considering these courses. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at addison@addisonames.com. You can visit my website and see my email address there too, or messenger me on Facebook if you have any questions. I'm always happy to answer any questions about these courses. And really appreciate, Loren, you allowing me to present these to your audience, and I'm grateful for the opportunity.
We are so grateful as well for you to offer these on New Earth One Network. So thank you for that, Addison. And for everyone watching, if you are ready to invest in yourself in this way, to bring your loved ones along with you, your friends, your neighbors, or even just yourself. If you don't have another person, maybe just gift it to someone and bring them in, and they'll be like, wow, what a heart hug right there. This is something that is so beautiful, and we hope that you take advantage of this opportunity. Thank you, Addison.
Thank you, Loren. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.